If you're looking to service Peugeot, Citroën, DS and the new Vauxhall range in your workshop in-house, then you need the genuine PSA dealer diagnostic equipment. In this video, we'll cover all the hardware that you need to repair, diagnose and keep those vehicles in-house. And at the end, we'll even cover everything that you need to know before you purchase your kit. So the essential hardware that you'll need is the PSA VCI. The VCI can connect to your laptop via a USB port and USB cable supplied in the kit. Also, it can be connected via a LAN cable not supplied in the kit, and also a 16-pin OBD cable. The VCI is everything that you will need to carry out and perform diagnostics, coding and programming on those Peugeot, Citroën, DS and the new Vauxhall range of vehicles. There are a couple of optional extras that can really enhance the performance of this particular tool. However optional, one of them is an absolute must. If you're working on light commercial vehicles, then the S.1279 switch box is the device that you need to accompany this particular tool. Not only will it give you full coding, diagnostic and programming access for those light commercial vehicles such as the Nemos, the Bippers and the Boxers, etc. It has this nice little tiny switch box on the top that just allows that communication to change those pins, which means you're going to get full coverage on all ECUs within your diagnostic software. An absolute essential tool if you're working on light commercial vehicles. If you're a fleet operator and you're seeing a lot of those vehicles and vans, that's an absolute must. The other tool, of course, is the Code Wizard Pro 2. Again, on its own as a product, it doesn't really do a huge amount, but combine that with the power of the dealer diagnostic software and that will give you instant access to be able to do those in-depth coding and programming jobs, because this will enable you to give those algorithm codes to unlock that BSI's full potential. An absolute must again if you're wanting to get that involved with BSI coding, programming and key matching. So you're going to need a laptop. We've built this custom design machine specifically for use with the Peugeot Citroën diagnostic software in mind. We've handcrafted and selected all of the best components and made sure that this device will be future-proofed. We've selected the most popular 14-inch screen model, and we've actually over-engineered this particular tool so that it's got the rugged ports, including also 2 RJ45 LAN sockets, not necessarily required for Peugeot Citroën diagnostics, but for some other vehicle manufacturers. Here's the 14-inch size screen, lovely button feel, fantastic rugged click buttons. As you can see, the carry handle, fingerprint scanner and the webcam, all standard features that you'd expect to find on any high-end business spec laptop, all put into a rugged case just for those occasional errors and mishaps of spillages and oil and dirt and grease in that harsh workshop environment. This is a laptop that we would really recommend that you use. Over-engineered i7, 32 gig of RAM, 512 gigabyte solid state drive, enough to see you for the demands of today's diagnostics, but also for future-proofed as well. It's designed to the high IP rating. Now let's talk about battery support that you're going to need for your PSA diagnostics, coding and programming jobs. As with all manufacturers, Peugeot, Citroën and Vauxhall is no exception. You're going to need a really good battery support unit. Let's take a look inside. Inside, we have our 25mm thick, 5 meter in length cables with our ISO connections. We have our mains power supply, and when it comes to battery support units, especially PSA, we have a number of different options ranging from the 100 amp up to the 120 amp unit. Both units are perfectly adequate for the diagnostics, coding and programming on these particular vehicles, and they all look very similar to this. Now there is a magnet version which can bolt onto the side of a lift and a ramp if you wish, but this is the one that we would recommend. This is ideal and perfect for mounting on your diagnostic trolley, so you can have your laptop on top as well as then all of your cables all in one place for doing that diagnostics and programming work. Some things really that you need to know about battery support units is the ability to keep that stabilized voltage. These particular devices will allow you to pre-select your voltage range up to 14.8 volts, and that will maintain then the ampage that is required on the vehicle draw when it's doing that diagnostics and coding job. Sometimes the vehicle is connected to these particular units up to several hours, so the ability to keep that constant voltage means you're going to get uninterrupted, error-free programming. The cost of this particular unit then falls into insignificance when it comes to actually the cost of a replacement ECU. So if you happen to damage one ECU in a vehicle, that has more than covered the cost of this particular device. So now we've covered all of the hardware, essential equipment that you're going to require. Let's go through a few things that you'll need to know before you buy your kit. Now I know you want to go out and buy that kit. Let's just hold off a second. There's a few things that you really need to know. The tool on its own is no good without the diagnostic software. So you're going to need to know how to register and where to buy that software from. So first of all, you go to the service box site. The service box site is where you'll register for the Peugeot, Citroën, DS and Vauxhall in order to download your software. It's also available as well for getting things such as technical resources, technical bulletins and repair information. The subscription for the diagnostics works on a token basis. The token is valid for one particular vehicle VIN number, different to most other vehicle manufacturers. This token then will give you access to that one vehicle VIN for a period of up to 7 days. Great use of the token, of course, if you've got that really problematic vehicle and you need to be connected to the car for a number of days, such as ordering a component and waiting for that to be delivered. All that can be done for the cost of just that one token. So that's a great use of the time. Unfortunately, that is the only option with regards to Peugeot Citroën for the token basis, is one token per VIN for a period of 7 days. Can work out quite expensive. However, you'll need to make sure that you can pass this cost on to your customer so that you don't end up losing out. Before you get registered, you'll need to make sure that you've got all of your company details. Some really valuable bits of information such as VAT registration, company numbers, etc. are what you're going to really need. VAT registration is crucial if you're going to want to go on to do those security jobs. So now you've got all of your hardware, you've got all your setup, you've done everything that you need and you're ready to go ahead and buy your kit. But what next? Often what we see sometimes is those workshops that have employed dealer technicians also think that there's no need for essential basic skills and training. However, we all know in the aftermarket, these pieces of equipment don't always operate fully as they would expect inside the dealership network, such as subscriptions, for example. Those little individual niggling errors from your computer, when you lose your password, when something happens and you get a crash. You need to be able to save log files, reports, you need feedback information. The bundles and the packages that we supply include all of the technical help and assistance that you're going to need and require. This information and training is what's going to really get you to really make that return on that investment that you've just got. So this is a free 1-hour tuition via TeamViewer that's done live directly straight to your machine. There's no need to send a technician to a classroom or training environment. There's no expensive hotel bills overnight. This is done as a predetermined scheduled appointment so that you've got a vehicle and all the information there to hand on this free 1-hour training so that you can maximize the free 1-hour training the very minute you get your equipment. This training can be structured in such a way that it's actually bespoke and specific to your exact requirements, whether you're just focused on key programming, whether you're a gearbox specialist, whether you've come from a main dealer background, or you're fresh and new to Peugeot Citroën Diagnostics. But don't worry if you need to extend this 1 hour. We also offer a 2-day workshop-based in-house at our Automotive Training Academy, where you will touch upon everything that you need to use the diagnostic software as well as the technical information, wiring diagrams. They will even introduce faults live on a vehicle for you to fix. So even if you're rusty and you just want to immerse yourself with like-minded technicians in a small group workshop environment, then this is a highly recommended option for you. That's been our hardware unboxing video for PSA. Everything shown today is available from maverickdiagnostics.com. If you want to see more on PSA or read our buyer's guide, click the link on screen and don't forget to subscribe for more.